Hey guys, it's me, Coach Tamika James. I am here with another amazing person I'm so excited about today. I have with me Miss Aarika
Adebowale.
Listen, why did I even try to do that? I don't even know. All right, so can we start with the spelling of your name?
Yes,
I love it. I love it.
The first name, right?
Yes.
Okay, Aarika spelled Aarika.
Yeah.
So it's like Aaron almost. But so I have an older brother named Aaron.
Okay.
Mom has 5 children, 4 boys, 1 girl, and all of us have A names. So the first 3 have double A's. The second or the last 2 have just 1 A, but all of us all A's.
Wow, I didn't expect to hear that. All right. Well, I love the way that your name is spelled, and I'm kind of in that same boat. I'm Toneka, so
Okay.
people always mess it up. So
Yeah.
do people do the same to you?
Absolutely. I get called Aarika all the time. I'm not really sure how the 2 A's draw out the I. I just rarely, maybe 3 times in my life, have had people get it right away. And it's usually people who also have difficult names. So those are the people that kind of take their time to phonetically sound out or, get the concept of how my name is spelled.
Yeah.
But I'm used to correcting people gently, especially if I know we're going to build a relationship or see each other more than one time. But sometimes if it's once, I might not even correct the person. They're just kind of like, yeah, it's Aarika, spell it how you need to.
Yeah. I had a feeling when I met you that it was spelled some other way.
Really?
So when I met you, I said, well, how do you spell
That's
it?
so
Because
funny.
I don't know. And maybe something about like when you're fabulous and you're an amazing, I don't know, like seriously. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I do appreciate that though, because growing up, that was always a thing, right? Like people would meet me and then they'll be like, oh, it matches. Like your personality definitely matches your name. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't name myself, so okay.
They said it right, yeah. So let's get into talking about exactly who you are to the world. Now, a lot of people know you as the wife of CEO Maddie J.
Yes.
So can we begin to talk about like what's your space in that world of being his wife?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I actually gave myself the name CEO Miss Maddie because with our dynamic, we're very partner oriented. And when I say partner, I don't mean we're equal, we do the exact same things, we're on the same level with everything, because I don't think that that's the way that partnership works all the time. Actually, very rarely, you see partnership work that way. But when you look at partnership, it's usually 2 people who play completely different roles in the business to make it work or to make it thrive. So that's actually how we work together. But it got to a point where I was getting phone calls every single day to take care of certain people or to make connections with the clientele. And instead of introducing myself as, hey, I'm Aarika, and then they're like, who's Aarika? And then I'm like, oh, I'm Maddie's wife. Now this unnecessary 10 minutes of dialogue comes about. I get right to the point. Hey, it's Miss Maddie. So when they see that name, they know right away, oh, he told me his wife was going to call, or this is the person I need to talk to. Let's get to business. And that's usually the nature of us and our clients and our relationship with each other. We're ready to get it done and work together. And whatever it is that we set as our goal, we're ready to get right to it. So that just kind of cuts out the fluff. As far as our dynamic together or being his wife, it's to me, it's like taking the term, treat your marriage like a business to the next level.
Yeah.
I never knew how that looked or how that worked until I walked into it, right? Because when it comes to marriage, when it comes to working with someone that your spouse, there's no blueprint, there's no workbook, there's no guide, there's nothing that you really have to kind of go off of other than knowing people who have the same or similar experiences. But for me, we're both not from Atlanta where we now reside, we're from California. So all of our friends and family that we grew up with, that we're very familiar with, are back home. So I walked into the Twilight Zone.
Tell me about the Twilight Zone.
So first of all, I was not an entrepreneur before meeting my husband. I worked in corporate.
Not even a little bit?
Not even, well, I've always had it in me as far as having a side hustle or something that I'm good at, right? Making connections with people, getting paid for those kind of things.
Okay.
My hair, it's like I got to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna have extensions on the side, so whenever someone calls me, I have them ready, make more money like that, you know. But I've always valued that stability. I've grown up with, you know, my father was a serial entrepreneur, but my mom was like one job only. She's only had one career her entire life.
How did that work in the household?
Well, they weren't together once they had me.
Okay.
So, you know, he had moved on, new family, all that good stuff. But mom, we still had a really close relationship, all of us, right? So I saw mom working hard. You know, the village raised us, right? Grandparents heavily involved. Her sisters were always in our, you know, it's just like the village thing, right? Like everyone contributes to the well-being of the children in the family. And so mom worked a lot because she really wanted us, especially having 4 boys, to have a better lifestyle, better quality, better choices, better environments. So she worked a lot. And my dad was like opposite. He was a workaholic as well, but in his own, you know, space. He was a chiropractor. He was the doctor for the Lakers for a while. So he had a really, you know, extensive background when it came to entrepreneurship. So I saw him working even harder than her, but for himself, his own empire. And then I saw her getting up, clocking in every day. And so it was like 2 different worlds, actually. I would be home with mom, and we have one simple kind of like regular regimen. And then I would be with dad, and it's like we're up at 4 a.m. We're on a flight here. We're doing the same kind of thing I do with my husband, ironically. But that's how it was growing up for me. You know, so I got to see the best of both worlds when it came to corporate and entrepreneurship. But it was like I was straddling the fence. I didn't know what to choose. So because of that, like fear of not knowing where to go, I went with the safe route.
What's safe to you?
Safe to me is the corporate thing, right? So I'm gonna go to school, which I did. I went to school for psychology. I finished in my 4 years, and then I got a career right away. And my next plan was to make some investments on the side, but still have my income coming in, right?
Okay.
So I was looking at properties. I was looking, you know, to flip houses, to get duplexes and things like that. Those were my plans, literally shopping for houses when my husband came along.
Okay.
And so, so that was like my safe route, right? Like, let me go and do the corporate thing, and then I'll still have some youth and some time and some energy to play around and really build my wealth outside of my corporate job, because we all know it's capped, it's very structured, you have to play by the rules. I mean, you can know people and kind of skip the line a couple times, but it's still gonna take that work, you know? And I was growing up in the era of, you know, entrepreneurship becoming a thing, a bigger thing for people. It's always been there, but it was always kind of like foreign. But now it's very, you know, we're very fluent in entrepreneurship in this day and age. So I was getting to that I was growing up in that era where I'm like, okay, I need freedom too. I can't keep looking out this side of the door, like the window, and I want to be out there, and it's a good weather, but I'm stuck in this cubicle, you know? So in my mind, I never thought I would always be in a corporate. I just was playing it safe as far as taking the route to entrepreneurship through my corporate job. So I didn't plan on leaving or, you know, stressing out or hustling, you know, grinding it out, you know, until I found the thing that I wanted to do as an entrepreneur. I wanted to play it safe. So that's exactly what I did, and then things changed.
Now tell me, I know something about the fact that you were considering becoming an attorney.
Yeah.
So wait, how do people know that about you?
I mean,
tell us about it.
You know, I
know it's very
I never got into law school or even applied for that matter. But you know, I'm the kind of person that I can't say what I want until I establish what I don't want.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
So I was very open. Even in high school, I took a medical assistant class because I hadn't yet decided where I wanted to go in life. So I'm like, let me do everything. Like, literally anything that they would let me do. Like, I don't care if it was like learning how to change a tire. At least I know I don't want to do that, you know?
I identify, Aarika, because I did the same thing. I'm like, if I don't know which one is going to be the thing,
right,
I need to try it.
Let me use process of elimination, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's exactly what I was doing. So I'm like, should I be a doctor? And so I did medical assisting, and it was not for me. Like,
what part of that was not good to you?
Dealing with sick people all the time was very scary for me, especially having a big family. When one kid gets sick, the whole house is shut down. everyone's getting sick. It's going to be a good 2-3 weeks in the house for everybody, you know? So I didn't like that feeling of like, okay, I have to be cautious or I might get sick and then everyone's sick and then it's just a big headache, right?
Makes sense.
We understand that now with the pandemic, how that works,
Yeah.
right? But that was a foreign kind of situation for a lot of people who didn't have huge households. But being one of 5, yeah, like it doesn't matter if you've been queen your whole life. If they come home with a stomach virus, boop, 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 boop. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was just traumatic for me. I didn't like that, dealing with the blood, and you never know what you're gonna get if someone's gonna come in with an emergency. And you just see crazy things. Yeah. I don't feel like you see the same thing twice almost. So I did that. It's different, but I decided, okay, grandparents not for me.
Negative. Okay.
So the next thing, I know I like to talk. I know that I like to defend people. I like to help people.
Okay.
I was always admiring those roles in the movies, you know, where there's like this strong woman and she's smart and she's showing off, you know, who she is and she's helping people, right? She's like this hero in my eyes, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I can be a lawyer, I can be an attorney. It's awesome, right? And so also my father, he had lots of lawyer friends and things like that. My aunt, one of his sisters, she's an attorney. So I was kind of around these careers to see what their day-to-day looked like. So I was no foreigner to the life of an attorney. So that was my, you know, in my mind until I finished school, got my job, working for LA County, and I went out and I met a friend and he was an attorney.
Okay.
And we'd hang out all the time. I mean, like Friday nights, I already know he's at my job, like come to get me so we can go hang out. Like, you know, because he explained his life was very stressful Monday through Thursday, right? And so when I expressed to him about law school, we connected on that level. And he's like, yeah, I think you should take your time, right? You just got out of college.
Telling you,
yeah.
Okay, whoa.
So, and this is my thing though. I really enjoy the climate that we're in right now with mentorship, because it literally helps eliminate a lot of troubles, a lot of fluff, and some people are still kind of like, you know, guarded when it comes to hiring a mentor or getting a mentor for some reason because they feel like I can do it myself. But sometimes mentorship really does save you time, energy, money, resources, all of those things. Had he not come to me, I probably would have been that person that felt overwhelmed because I've been going to school my whole life and now I need to, you know, so he just kind of encouraged me to take my time with it and, you know, really kind of go out, explore, and I have new money now, right, as a struggling college student going to corporate, just enjoy myself. And that's what I did for about a year or so. And once I started thinking about law school again, once again, met my husband and life changed.
Okay, so let's get to the husband part.
Sure.
Okay, so you meet this man,
Yeah.
and there's a story behind you guys meeting, and then what happened? Like you met, and then like how long was it before you guys actually got married?
Yeah, it was about 8 months of us like dating, courting, however you would call it. I'm not very like big on the terminology of everything, and that kind of sparked the brand that I have now with Team Wife Life. Okay. So
how did everyone feel about the fact that you guys got married so fast?
Okay, yeah, that was crazy. But listen, he is Nigerian, so in their culture they marry. Like that's just not a foreign thing, you know. Like as American women, marriage is like, we don't know. Like maybe you will, maybe you won't. You know what I mean? And so that's how it was kind of shown to me. But I guess because I did grow up in a, you know, like a suburban area where I saw many thriving families, we were the only single family on the block. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, that stands out. Like I'm 9 years old in this suburb and I can see everyone, black, white, Spanish, didn't matter. Everyone had a family. And I understood the dynamic because their moms didn't have better jobs than my mom, but their lifestyle kind of looked a little different than mine. Like I had to kind of sacrifice sometimes, and I had to kind of learn how to hustle a little bit, you know. So I would call my grandma like, hey, I need $100. I want to get some new hair, or get my hair braided, or get a new style, or buy some new shoes. And I couldn't always ask mom to do those things because I had to consider the whole
There's a bunch of
family.
children in the household. Yeah.
Exactly, you know, and we never wanted for anything. Don't get me wrong, she was a really, really, really good provider. But when I saw the less stress on the other families, I noticed right away they have two parents. If mom isn't doing, dad is doing, it's a team effort. So when I want a family, when I grow older, I want to do life with somebody. And I didn't understand why everybody wasn't doing life with somebody.
It's like, what the heck is going on out here? What's wrong with these people?
So, you know, like things like that allow me to understand life is not perfect. Things happen, whatever, right? But it made me very, very interested in how life and relationships work. Why they work, why they don't work. And that became something in my heart that I just could not get away from. So it was important for me to find someone or be with someone who felt marriage is valuable as well. Again, that transitional era that I grew up in was like, no, it's okay to run the streets. That's what we're doing.
Just a little longer, right?
Yeah. let's run the streets, right? Or we don't have to get married. It's just a piece of paper, and everyone doesn't want to be married, and all of this stuff. So now you have half of the generation that's like, I don't ever want to see marriage. You know, I just want to live my life, be a bachelor, do what I want all day. And then you have the rest of us who are kind of like, no, I still see marriage in my future. I still feel like it's very important. So that was like, it was weird. It was a weird space. So meeting him, his culture, I think definitely influenced his decision, right? When it comes to the crossroads, do I want to be married, especially young, right? We were about 23, 24 when we met.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and looking back now, it seems very young, but at that time, we thought we had it all figured out.
Underground Biz Group. Underground Biz Group.
We're good, we've done everything we need to do, marriage is next, you know? So being young and stepping out of our comfort zone and saying, no, we're gonna commit and do life together was absolutely crazy. None of our friends were married, okay, none of them. Like, it was a very crazy thing for us to do. So when Maddie and I met, he did express to me within the first couple weeks that we were dating or talking or getting to know each other that he was seeking a wife. Like that's his goal, you know, in kind of getting to know me.
All I want to say is the average woman out there now is looking for this kind of man. They're like, where is the man that's going to ask me to marry him?
That's the problem, though.
But you were 20, 24?
I was 24.
Yeah, so it's different.
But the problem is women are looking instead of becoming. And that is where I come in with my.
Okay.
That is where I think we need
to start jumping into that because. You know, I know that you're in a brand new space right now, and it sounds like you're in this space as a result of all of your experiences.
Correct.
So to me, it sounds like you're using your life to help other people to do life even better.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
If I could like put that on a shirt or put that on my bio.
Well,
like,
this is recorded, so you know you can
like
have
that,
it.
That is like literally how I feel about what it is I'm doing, and it's amazing, but it's so interesting to try to communicate this, why this would be necessary. Why would people need a mentor on relationships and marriage? Like, you know, why would people need a mentor for that? But exactly how you said, certain people have different experiences, and what you take away from those experiences, how you are able to share those experiences and kind of, you know, bring about new perspectives and having an open mind and getting your lessons from everything makes for a great mentor, makes for a great leader in a certain space. So that's exactly what happened with the brand.
All right, so tell me, how does this work? Because you are the wife of CEO Maddie J.
Yeah.
And to my understanding, you play a large role in the business that he does.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're the woman behind the man that's really making things happen. I don't know if people really know that, but I think you need your credit.
I think
you
they're
need
finding
all
out.
of your credit.
I think they're finding out slowly,
Okay,
for sure.
you know. Right.
Yeah, so I like to say he's CEO, but I'm COO.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And not just, you know, with the business, but also in life. And so, again, when it comes back to that phrase, marriage is a business, that's where I get that mindset from, where I don't feel less of a person because my role is different, but I'm in my role respectfully, right?
Okay.
And I'm doing everything I need to do.
What kind of things do you do?
So definitely be the founder of businesses that we operate, like our car rental business that we have, teaching business, business in a box, building websites, things like that, right? So he would definitely come up with the entire business, right?
Okay.
The model, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, all of those great things. It's my job to help him decide how we carry it out. So I'm doing the operation.
Executor.
Right. So
Right.
alongside him, he has this vision, right, of how he wants to do things. He'll put it together, he'll test it, and if it's exactly what he sees, like in his vision, now I need to step in and make sure the operations are maintained, right? All of these things, everybody is in place, everyone knows what they're doing every day, make those systems better, bring them to life, make tweaks or changes. If it's just cutting out something that's not necessary or putting something in that's absolutely necessary, that's where I come in to make it, so it's kind of like bringing a child a coloring book, right? So you bring them the coloring book, it's not completely blank. There's a template there.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then the child, correct. So it's a shape, it's a template, it's a picture, but it looks just kind of black and white until the child comes in with the colors and the creativity and all of those great things. So that's me. I'm the child that colors in, may stand the lines, I don't know, but he trusts me in that regard to be in alignment with his vision. And that took a lot of, teamwork and a lot of ups and downs and indifferences that we worked out before we were able to be this fluid, like with running the businesses together.
All right. So because you handle so much, that tells me and the rest of the world that you're totally capable of doing your own thing.
Absolutely.
Right? So using all of those skills, what is it that you're doing right now? Like, can you really dive in and tell us about what you're offering right now to the world?
Yeah. So what I offer is pretty much a mentorship program. So I do for wives and non-married, but for women who want to be married or see marriage in their future, just kind of giving that insight and those details and those, being there to answer those questions and give that experience share that, maybe your big sister or your aunt or someone would give you, but not all of us have those people around to provide that type of detail, right? We're living in a new age where things are different. So when you look around, let me just ask you, how many people growing up in your life were married?
Not many.
Right. That's the story for many people. Meaning if they have questions about marriage or questions about, even going into that lifestyle, who do they have to ask? Not many, and I think they should ask someone who actually has done it successfully, like yourself. Yeah, and that's where I come in with the mentorship program. So that's for non-married, right? But also for the wives.
Okay.
So
wait, which one came first?
The wives.
All right.
So I have Team Wife Life. That's the brand.
Okay.
And then I have Winning Wives. That is the mentorship just for the married women. Okay. And that came about because I decided we have lives. Okay. Life matters.
Right, okay.
And we need to be winning, not just in marriage, but in our personal life. We have a personal life, even in marriage, with our children, with our health. We need to be winning in every area. So in order for us to win, we need to start dealing with some of the things that we're going through. So I created a safe space where women meet together 3 to 4 times a month, virtually, and then one physical outing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's just, it's what I needed. So because it wasn't in existence, I brought it to life, right? So this means we talk about different categories, whether it's submission to your husband, whether it's how do you work together, being married, right? It's a safe space with like-minded women who are able to talk about these topics and share their experiences, share their knowledge, share whatever. If it's a book that helped, we have a place now to come and get all of that information and fellowship together.
So question, so I know you were just speaking a moment ago about people not really knowing if they need this or not.
Yeah.
So at what point does a woman actually realize she needs to be a part of your organization? Like what's going on in her life where she's like, okay, I better connect with her?
I think every wife needs a community, but I have the capacity, and it's not expensive. So if you don't know if you need it, but you're married, try it.
Okay.
Come try it out and see for yourself in person what we do, so you can make that decision to know if you need it or not. I have wives of all different dynamics in other countries.
Oh,
now.
wow.
Yeah, and this has only been for 2 months.
Oh.
But I'm getting text messages, inboxes, emails saying how great the class was or how amazing the meeting was, because it's so impactful. And impact is more important than income for me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and so if you're not sure, check us out. You know, just come in, get your feet warm. If you don't like it, leave.
No, I don't think they're gonna leave. No, they're not gonna leave.
No, you're not. And I'm very confident in that, because again, this is something that is really not, it's not being done. But the feedback, the growth, is letting me know that we're doing what needs to be done in this day and age. So I'm really a girl's girl. So I know that it's needed. It's something you gotta experience, you know?
I know that we have these reality shows where they're showing the wives of the men who are doing some amazing things.
Yeah.
And I think the dynamic is that they show the drama.
Right.
And so are you basically like saying you don't have to have drama and you want to
have
make sure
drama.
you're
No.
avoiding the drama? So like that you're...
No. This is nothing like that. Okay?
Right, you're trying to
So
make
I
sure
think-
you avoid it, right?
Correct. Well, I think that life is going to give you drama whether you ask for it or not. Whether there's a camera rolling or not, you are going to have some drama in your life, right?
Yeah.
But my goal is to promote long-lasting marriages, especially in the minority communities.
Love that.
We don't see it often, right? We just had that talk. We didn't see marriage growing up from our community, from our people, from our families. So my objective is to change that, right? And I really believe that a big part of that came from not having the right people in your life to work out some of those indifferences with, or to receive information and mentorship and guidance with certain things that may not cause for divorce. But because we get so frustrated, because we get so closed in, we have nowhere to go, that's the only option. Let me cut ties.
Right.
But then when you're dealing with other women who are, you know, who have experienced this or may have a different perspective or a different insight, that might help you in you're able to take that back and say, okay, let me try this. Before I call it quits, let me try this. But it's not just a one and done. This is monthly.
Okay.
We're working on ourselves every single month, 3 times in a class with different topics. We get to talk about this stuff openly, so we can decide if our marriage is if we're gonna continue to fight for our marriage, if we're gonna continue to grow and thrive in our marriage, or if it's just, let's just cut it dry, right? And cut it off. But I really believe that community is probably one of the biggest things that will
That's
help
what I'm
us.
thinking about this. I wanted to talk about the fact that the community setup is there. So like the women actually get to know other women.
They do.
So do you have it where they kind of break off and they make their own relationships with the women in the group as
That
well?
is absolutely the goal, and it's happening. But again, this is new for me. So this is about 2 months in. So we haven't gotten to that point, but I feel like it's happening very soon.
I can see that.
To the point where if I'm in another city, like I'm down here in Florida right now, I'll meet women who are either a part of the wife group, or they want to introduce me to other wives that they know that may not they may not be in the wife group yet, and we'll go out to dinner, we'll go out for girls' night, we'll do things, and they get to see, okay, there is something here, right? Like I need to be a part of this, because it's nothing like telling your husband, hey, I'm gonna go out with the girls, and they're all married.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Because he actually wants that.
Everybody
really
wants
does,
that.
yeah.
I mean, of course, but you know, we don't have that option all the time, because unfortunately, not all of our friends are, well, not unfortunately, but not all of our friends are married. So we don't just cut them off because you're not married.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we do have that option of going out with the married girls, where we all kind of have the same, you know, kind of mind, interests in certain areas. And it's a lot easier. We kind of, you know, like yesterday I went out with a couple girls, and they're not married, but you know, when guys came over, like I'm like, oh no, I'm good. But that was not their flow, you know. That was not their flow. So I kind of had to like go dismiss myself and like kind of hang out and check out the scenery, and then come back when they were done, you know. And it was like, it doesn't have to be an awkward thing,
Right.
but it does make for like a different flow when you're going out with women who have the same situation. You know what I mean? So that's why one of the things that we do is a monthly meeting where we go out. Either it's, I don't care if it's the gun range or if we're going, you know, zip lining together. We're doing things that we like to do that don't necessarily require our husbands to shut down too and come do them with us, right? I've met plenty of wives who kind of just don't go anywhere or do anything until their husband's ready to do it with them. And I think sometimes that's because they don't have anybody to do it with. So if we create this calendar, which I do every first of the month, I drop a calendar in my in the group chat, and everyone knows how to plan their month or plan ahead of time. And if they want to come down, or if they're in another state or another city, they now have a challenge to get with someone in their area. Okay. It doesn't have to be someone married, but it can be a friend or something. But the point is, you're being intentional about making sure you're still living. You still have a life outside of taking care of your husband and the children. You get what I'm saying? So that to me is a big part of self-care. It's just making sure you have a life as well.
Underground Biz Group. Underground Biz Group.
Do you have a lot of women in your group that are trying to pull themselves away from the image of the husband? So like they're married and then the woman is like behind the husband all of the time. So do you have a lot of women that they're aiming to create their own identities and
Absolutely.
like kind of pull themselves out?
I think every wife is.
Yeah.
I do. I think every wife is, whether she admits it now or not. I think if you, I think it's very rare to see wives that are actually thriving. You know, like sometimes it's like not that the wife doesn't look happy, but I see often the wife just kind of looks like she's going with the flow. Right? Let me just do what works, right? And I'm like, I'm done with that. You know, like I'm done with going with the flow. Like I want to be intentional about reaching my goals and setting goals and being, you know, strong and still being myself, where it doesn't interfere or it doesn't hurt my marriage. But that's why the wife community is a place where it's appropriate to do those things and to find out how we can navigate being ourselves while being married. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So we talk about still maintaining the feminine qualities, still submitting to the leader of the household, still, you know, without feeling disturbed about that or feeling like, okay, well, I'm just, you know, I have to be this, you know, subservient person, like, you know, in every aspect of my life. So no, you can just, you know, make that the environment there, but you still have a life and it's okay to live it. Yeah. So yeah, I think many women are trying to balance being themselves, still having a life outside of, you know, marriage.
I think we were having a conversation about the feminine and masculine qualities and like for a woman to be careful about being a little too masculine in her relationship.
Yeah.
So do you guys talk about some of those things that just kind of balance out the relationship and help the woman to kind of know how to show up?
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing. Everybody's marriage is different, right? There are some men who don't care. There are going to be topics we talk about where you just don't resonate.
It makes sense.
You don't.
I'm glad you said that
know?
because I think that helps people to understand that they can be a part of this, and every little thing that's discussed may not be for them.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, there are some women who don't struggle with submission. You know, some women who are like excellent at it. But that's an opportunity for you
to show up and help someone else in the group.
That's right. It's not just about me.
I love it.
I put myself in the position of leadership as far as I'm volunteering to spend a majority of my week collecting data and information
and organizing
researching
this whole thing.
That's what it is, right? But this is also your platform. This is also your community where you can be yourself and have that wife talk. Share your talents. We want to know too what's working well for you, right? And so that's the point. Is really for us to. There are many talented wives, but again, because our life takes a different turn. I did it myself. When my life took a different turn, I dropped everything. And it wasn't for the man per se. Yeah, he's a great man, but my life took a turn. I needed to show up for this life now, this new life that requires a different Aarika. It didn't require the Aarika who went to work, who had plans, who did all of these things. It required the Aarika to support what's already thriving, do what makes sense, learn something new, be a student, right? It required that person. Again, I had no idea about entrepreneurship. So I had to literally become a student to my husband, who is a great entrepreneur, who only knows entrepreneurship, and also be able to interject when it came time for us to hire people. Okay, babe, this is how we do it in the corporate world. This is how we deal with our clients, right? Of course, but that cohesiveness is not easy when you walk in holding on to all of these things, right? You got to kind of figure out a way to, and again, it's all about navigating. It was a new space for me. I had, again, no resources except for books and things like that. But yeah, it takes a lot of time to kind of go through which one is going to resonate with you.
But speaking of that, how long did it take for you to birth this idea? Like, how long were you sitting on it, and then what did it take to push it out?
I came out with the idea the day I got married.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I have proof.
Well, your husband is Mr. Document the process, so I'm sure you documented it.
I did. I came up with the. I posted a picture. It was a day before maybe it was like the day before we got married. And I was like, oh, you know what would be cool? Like, because he had communities. This was a thing, right, 5 years ago. And I'm like, oh, it would be cool if we had like a wife community.
Nice.
Because I was that friend that always kind of like had my vision. And like, you know, people are like, you manifested this life, you know, because I would be like, no, I'm doing this and I'm going to have this and I'm going to be like this, you know. But I was just very serious about it, like very intentional. And my friends would always come to me about relationship advice. And they noticed it wasn't the normal, you know, just kind of like, oh, well, you know, whatever. It was very detailed. And I think that comes from my psychology background, where I'm able to break down perspectives and situations, and also having so many brothers where I'm able to understand the man a little bit more.
Okay, I think that helps out.
Of course, having a father that was crazy all over the place, you know, high level of energy and high level entrepreneur and all of those good things before it became a thing. That was my upbringing.
Do you think you can get all of your brothers together to come into your group? Because I can only imagine with, you said 4 brothers?
They're young. They're all younger than me.
Well, they still have a perspective. You know, but I'm just thinking, like, if they were to come in and just talk to, because they're all different. And you learned from them.
I did.
So I think they would be able to come into your group and just share and answer some questions. For the women, I think, because some of this comes from them.
Yeah.
Listen, I had to throw that in there because I thought it was really
cute.
Yeah, because you're using your actual real life experience to build and, you know, this thing out.
Absolutely.
So okay, so from the moment you've been married, how long?
5 years.
So it took
5 years.
5 years, because you're only 2 months in.
How
long before the public knew about it? Like when you were really, really building it, was it literally 2 months ago, or was it like maybe a year?
December is when I started to put everything together.
Okay.
But I created the first acronym. So I took the word wife, and I was like thinking about it and sitting on it, and like it was just like, yeah, this new thing is like taking over my life right now. Like, what is this, right?
Okay.
And so I decided that wives were from the W letter, worthy, right? Were also investments.
Okay, worthy investments.
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah. So that's what a wife is.
Worthy investments forever.
Yeah, so, you know, just like any other investment, literally, if you take it to, you know, to a business or to a bank, you put this investment in, you want it to grow, you want a return on it, you want it to bring you, right, something, or to do something to thrive, right? That's what an investment is. So when you think about the man, he finds the wife, right? That's not my idea. That is the way God, you know, established it. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And this is why I say it's important for us not to look or seek, but to prepare. So that to me is our only job.
Okay, so first of all, I hope that's a t-shirt, the acronyms. And second of all, it is. I'm sure. I know. All right, so I wanna move into. There's another group. We've been talking about the women who are wives.
Yes.
So there's the other group for the women who are becoming wives.
Yes.
Because you just mentioned being prepared.
Yes.
So I'm sure, is that where that came from?
Absolutely.
Like you're like, okay, you're not there yet, but you got inquiries, right? Women that were asking you.
We start tomorrow. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's called Wives in Waiting.
Okay.
And it just comes from, like, you know, just kind of growing up, knowing that, you know, again, how it comes about, right? He who finds a wife finds a good thing. So we are not the seekers. We are the ones who are sought, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you literally just sit and wait, right? But what does your life look like up until the moment your future husband finds you?
Because he needs to find what he's looking for.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I like
so
it.
It's not about necessarily changing everything about you to make you fit this vision of whatever this is. You don't know.
but through your group, they get to see what it looks like in other women.
You just get to see some preparation. Right?
Okay.
What are the things that we've done? What was our life looking like? Right? Meaning, no one cannot tell you what this man who I don't know is looking for in a wife. But what I can tell you is that many of us have a similar situation where we were walking in our true selves when our husbands came about. Where we were being very intentional about life, where we were being very ambitious. We didn't have time for anything that didn't serve our purpose. We were all, just purposeful, right? And so again, the reason why this is important now is because we do live in a time frame where, right, there's a lot of, the reality shows that don't show reality.
Right. Okay.
They show the drama, they show the toxic things, and unfortunately, these are the mentors. Whether they want to be the mentors or not, this is who the youth, the younger women are looking up to be like. Because in their mind, these are the women who get the good life. These are the women.
Sad. It's terrible.
These are the women who get to do all the shopping and get to live this life and get to do all these things, these superficial things that the young girls think life is about.
So you're breaking down those walls and helping people to see what they really need to see.
Right, and it's like there's so much more substance to life than the glitz and the glam. And when you're walking in your purpose, guess what? That comes with it. I mean, it just does. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, billionaire. Everyone can walk into the Louis store. There's no tax check that they do at the door, or some kind of, how much did you make this year? You're able to walk in there and get it and do it yourself. It doesn't matter what kind of life you're living. So women need to understand you don't have to sell yourself a certain way, project yourself or portray yourself a certain way, or do things that are not, in alignment with who you are as a person, or even your spiritual, right? In order to reap a certain type of lifestyle or a certain type of benefit. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it. You know what I mean? And I really want women to understand that it doesn't matter what age you are, but I just feel like what's being shown and what's being portrayed is all a trick. It's like, come and do this, and the less you wear, the less you respect yourself, and the less you require, the more benefits you're gonna have. And that's absolutely false. So I'm on a mission to make sure women know that is not what it's about. Let's get down to the root of these things, right? Let's get down to healing. Let's get down to dealing with traumas. Let's get down to making sure you have a vision for yourself in your life. And once you align all of those things and you deal with all of those things about yourself, he's gonna have no choice but to meet you and say, this is a wife.
Right, and you're making the women so much stronger, and they're becoming so much more empowered. And I love everything that you're doing. Yeah,
and what's funny is, women think this is about the husband, right? They may think this is about the husband. Oh, wives in waiting. I'm supposed to learn how to, rub feet or make a meal, and I can't even cook. So no, this is not this is not about that. But it's really about, again, making sure you are the best you. Right. So again, when someone finds you, when the man finds you, he finds you as so valuable, such an investment, so ready.
And you're
to
more
do life
whole.
With someone. Exactly.
Because I always hear that, these two people come together and they make 100%, they make a whole. But I believe that a woman should come in at 100% of who she is. That's and him as well.
That's right.
And then they come
together. Put those two together and make a bigger whole.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened. Like I said, had Maddie met me maybe 3-4 years ago, where I'm like getting ready to I'm in college, I'm not really sure what I want to do, I would not be able to commit my life to marriage and a new chapter, and no.
Well, I guess it was all in perfect timing.
Correct, and again, that's different for every person, but just getting that mindset together and, just putting things in perspective for yourself and knowing who you are more is really going to make you prepared for that next level.
Exactly. So I have a few more questions for you, but I want you to tell people how they get connected to you, how they can become a part of what you have going on. So just share with us.
Yes. So on Instagram, it's CEOMRS, Matty. So CEO Miss Maddie. I also have a website, www.teamwifelife.com, and that's where you'll learn about the wives in waiting. And on my Instagram, if you click the link in my bio, you'll see the first couple tabs are all about Team Wife Life, all about the wife community, the winning wives, and you'll see all of those things. Literally, Instagram is like the hub for me of where to find me. You can shoot me a DM if you want to know more about which group is best for you. And yeah.
All right. So let's jump into Instagram. So you've been reaching women across the world. You clearly just told me that there are women in other countries that are connected to you. What are you doing on Instagram? Give us some of your tactics that's making people see what you're doing and what's going on. Give them some tips.
Okay. So y'all, I don't have the most followers, but I am seeing the growth and I am attracting the audience that I want.
Okay.
And so I had to first get a business coach. I'm mentored out. Like I don't
mentored out.
I am mentored out. I have a mentor. I have a health mentor. I have, of course, at church, my spiritual mentors.
Mm-hmm.
I have business mentor, like a stylist sometimes, that I can reach out to. Because again, life is so fast paced for me because I'm not only, doing my business, but I'm still helping my husband to run his business. So I called it like, almost a 50-50 where half of the week or half of the day I'm running his businesses and the other half I'm tending to my business. And I have it set up like that so that I can be present in both. But yes, so the first thing was getting a business mentor.
Okay.
Right? That will help me to establish what it is I need to show, what it is I need to focus on.
Okay, that got deep. That got really deep.
It went, okay.
I know I said about Instagram and she's like a business coach. But what you're saying is you can't even show up on your Instagram page as who you are and helping people to understand that until you really know. So they had to kind of break all that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing.
That's where you come in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's 100% important. I mean, some people are very natural with it and it works for them, but you either have the personal brand and then you attach a business to it and people support it, or you have no personal brand, build the business and people attach and support that. So I did the latter. I didn't have a personal brand that anyone knew about to just attach a business and then boom, it's making $1 million in the first year.
Okay.
So because I had no personal brand, my personal brand is my business. So I started from ground zero with both. So now I am developing myself as a personal brand, as CEO Miss Maddie, and as the wife mentor. Or
wait, how many pages do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
But I focus on one, which is my personal page. However, for the sake of documentation, the sake of appropriateness, I have this separate page. But again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. This is just the way that I've done it for other people in the past, right? Other high-level influencers that we have taken their page or taken their business and taken it to the next level, done a campaign with them or something. I like the feeling of, if I want to, heavily promote something, I don't always have to use my page. I have my business page where I can just go crazy and people already know what to expect on there, right? But with my personal page, I have to balance a little bit of business, a little bit of me.
Good. That's a good tip. I think that's something people need to hear.
Yeah. So it just depends, right? But like my husband, Maddie's page is both. He doesn't need a separate page because he himself is the brand. There is no separate tab that he needs to open for they can get everything right through him, whether it's lifestyle, education, all of those things right through him. But for me, the way I'm doing things is a little different. I have the clothing line that's attached, I have the coffee mugs, I have different products that need, different, may need a model or may need to show other people wearing it, or so it's appropriate for me to have a separate page for this business.
Okay, you were just indirectly giving us some tips. Thank you. When you said there's a model and other people are wearing it and things like that.
Yeah.
So do you find that you need to do a lot of that, or do you kind of do quite a bit of that yourself? Like, are you holding your mugs? Are you wearing your t-shirts? Your apparel?
People definitely need to see other people with your products.
Thank you.
So the next tip I'll give is influencer marketing, but it doesn't always have to be these huge influencers. It can be micro influencers, and I say people who are 10,000 and less followers, reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, I have this product. I want to send you a care box. Just tag me when you decide to use it or wear it. They already care about their brand, so they don't post low quality pictures.
Okay.
So if I'm providing an item for you, you're going to wear it, you're going to use it because I've already done the research to make sure this is a product that sells. Okay. Right? Which you give it your business coach so they can tell you, because I'm not going to tell you how to make sure a product sells. That's not my job.
That's another story.
But once you've established your products, they sell, now it's time for you to do a couple things for marketing. So I reach out to those women who have very good quality photos, who are married, who resonate with my brand, and I say, hey, I want to see your care package. They receive it, they post it within the first week or so because I've already done the work to make sure it's a product that works. And then once they post that picture, I now gain their audience, they gain a free product or two, and I now have new marketing material. So that then brings in more sales, generates more sales. When I want to post about my business, I'm not just posting me. I'm not finding out different ways to contour my body, different hairstyles. I have other people that are also showing off their customer, or they bought, and they do become customers. Actually, if I haven't reached out fast enough to these influencers, like, hey, I have a new item, they'll buy it. I'm like, girl, I was going to send it to you. They're like,
I was going to send it. Well, look, let's not tell them all the secrets. They don't need it. You can buy a little bit.
You can buy a little bit, yeah. And I love that because they always come back and support that. So those are a few things that I'm doing. And then just being a lot more intentional. That's like my word of the year, because I think that is like the foundation of everything. You can post your random stuff. You can post things you feel like posting, right? Nobody's going to tell me how to post. That's great. But if you're building a brand online, it does matter. It matters the clarity of your pictures, getting into these apps that are out there, these Photoshop apps, not to create a facade, but just to enhance the quality of your brand. Instagram, as Maddie would say, is like a TV channel. And every time somebody scrolls past your channel, they can either click and say, this is interesting, let me watch a little more, I'm gonna give it a follow, I'm gonna tune into that program. Or they can scroll by like it's a commercial, I don't wanna see it. So if you are creating a brand, you have to treat Instagram like your TV show. So they get to see my TV show. They see when I go out of town. They know my family.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are you actually posting that you think that's helping you to win your audience?
Yeah. So I post a lot about the behind the scenes, what I'm doing in the businesses with my husband, our date nights, our anniversaries celebrated online, where people were with us at dinner, or they got to see like my new little ring, so I get to let them in on different things like that, changes. Like if we're moving, I'm gonna pull up the camera a little bit and let people see that we're moving into a new place. If we're out of town like we are now, and we're staying for a couple weeks, people are gonna know like, oh, when y'all go out of town, it ain't just, but it's because we're not coming out of town just for fun or for leisure, we're coming for business as well. So just them getting to know who I am, what we do, right? And of course, they already find Maddie very interesting. He's been doing this for like 15 years. Like I've never known him to have a job. So he's been an entrepreneur for a very long time. So him already being popular, already being known, they want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And they know wifey is going to keep it real. They already know I'm going to show all the craziness and, not too much. Of course, I respect our brand and our privacy. But I'm a woman. So my lens is going to look different than Maddie's lens.
So what kind of things don't people know about you that maybe we could share right now? Like something people don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm like showing it. So my stories pretty much show like a lot of like what I like to do, what I like to eat. When I'm traveling, my family, like I'm always giving tips on there, and that's really who I am. Like I'm literally like a walking mentor. Like anywhere I go, I'm sitting down with, like, you guys experienced it. Like I'm sitting down with people and I'm just talking, like, you know, because I do feel like I'm very non-judgmental, but I am very clear on certain things, and I love to help people get into that, like just being clear. And again, I don't know everything, of course. I would never ever say that, but I've been through the mindset of like, oh, I don't know, I'm indecisive, I don't know how to make a decision, I don't know what to do, what's best for my life. And I found the reason was because I was afraid of consequences and failures, and what if this is not the right decision. But then I had to come to the perspective that life is life. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm 100% clear on something. Whatever's supposed to happen in that moment is gonna happen.
Going to happen.
Yeah, so I just love to help people get comfortable being themselves, right? And so that's actually the person that I've walked into as of this last year or so, and it has been the most freeing and liberating thing ever in life. It's made me feel more beautiful. It's made me show up more beautiful, and just be a better light to people around me. And I really cannot thank God enough for giving me that awakening. But it just took, not being afraid to go through things, not just get to them, stop, fall. Yeah. Like, just going through them and just taking all that comes with it.
And I know being a genuine person to your audience is really what helps anyone to connect with their audience. And I just want to say, like, just from the moment I met you all the way until this moment, I felt genuine. Genuine Aarika, and I think that's what definitely is going to help you to continue to connect with more and more women across. And I just can see that this is going to be like all over the place. You're probably going to have some sort of a conference at some point in time where people are coming in, like, not these little meetups. I just see that. I don't know why I said that, but I just did. So I'm excited about everything that's going to happen based upon you being you and you showing up as you and helping people the way you want to. So just thank you for being you.
Thank you. So I'm amazed at what you do as well. Like, I'm following, I'm learning. Like, I just followed you recently because we just met recently. Yeah. But I'm learning. I'm always a student in every situation, so I love it.
Thank you so much. So a moment ago you mentioned the word beautiful. So I have to say and ask you, you're very beautiful, and women have to compliment women.
We do.
So, I don't like women, but I tell women all the time that they're beautiful because I think that it's something that should happen.
Right.
So I wanted to say that to you, but besides that, I want to ask you about your makeup because your makeup is beautiful. So, I believe, because I come from the beauty industry, right? So that was me for like 30 years almost of my life. But I believe women should know how to do their makeup.
Right.
So
I agree.
How did you learn how to do your makeup?
I hired a mentor. I'm not kidding.
No, don't tell me that.
I can pull it up. I'll pull up the messages.
Okay, what happened in this case?
So, literally, guys, like, life is in abundance right now. Like, you can literally do so much in life, but if you don't manage your time correctly, you lose. You lose time, and it's just like, right? Because you get frustrated trying to research everything, right? Imagine how long it would take for me to learn how to do makeup the way you know how to do makeup, and you've done this for 30 years. Why would I not come to you and say, hey, are you a coach or a mentor? Can you coach me in this area?
Yeah.
To me, it shows humbleness and humility. It doesn't show neediness or dependence or laziness. It shows I'm very serious about what I need to do, and that's what happened. We would go out of town, places like this, and or wherever we would go, and whenever we had an event, because we always do for work, I had to hire an artist, and that sometimes was the most inconvenient thing. We don't usually rent two cars to go out of town. We're usually together. We have to show up together, right? They understand it's the team thing, right? And so now I have to tell him, honey, I need to use the car. We gotta leave lunch with these this business lunch to go to get my makeup done and come back, and then that's an hour of traffic, and then here, and then go. It's crazy.
Too much. It's too much.
It's too much. So I was spending anywhere from 3 hours just to go and get my makeup done to show up to the event, and it was disturbing the flow of life for me. So I hired a mentor. Her name is Melanie Edwards. She's in Atlanta. I don't know if she does virtual class. I think she does do virtual classes as well. Yeah, she does. And maybe we can tag her or something in here. But she was a friend of ours, and she let me know that she does, so I trusted her, and I signed up for her program, and she provided me a cute kit and everything. So finding the right mentors is also very important, but it does come with a little trial and error. But people leave reviews, people leave comments, people brag and share about their experiences with other people, so that allowed me to trust her expertise. And so we went in, we did our session for about an hour and a half, and I left feeling like I could do whatever. And also it was better for me because I can do it the way I like it. You know, I don't have to feel like
right. You don't have to say, do my brows like this.
Yeah, or I'm not satisfied, or she did good here, but not. You know, you can't take that person everywhere. Yeah, I'm not at that level yet. You know, and I did this so that I'm not dependent on other people.
Yeah.
I lived that life where I was just completely dependent. Even like some people for the pandemic didn't know what to do with their hair and nails, makeup, because they're used to depending on other people. But if you hire a mentor, you learn from that person, you receive your coaching, you take your notes. Now you can do it yourself.
Boom.
That's a life hack.
Yes. Well, we're getting ready to come to the close of this interview, but I really want to know. You said something. I saw something that you posted. You said that you only do things that make you elevate.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I think someone needs to hear what that means.
Awesome. It was a song lyric, but it definitely applies, and that's where the captions come from, right? We post things and we have captions and we do these things that resonate with us, right? And so that's what I want my wives in waiting, and what I want people to understand is intentionality. Things that make me elevate, that's very intentional, right? So I'm not going to go to certain places or do certain things or get into certain hobbies or eat at certain restaurants or whatever if it doesn't make me or propel me to the next level in life. So I have this 2-year rule that I love to share with people. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And my 2-year rule is I have a 2-year rule for anything in life. Whatever is not serving me, whatever is not elevating me, whatever is not propelling me to the next level, for 2 years, if I do my analysis and I've spent 2 years on this thing and it ain't doing what it needs to, it ain't giving what it needs to give, I gotta cut it off.
Cut it off, just like that. Just cut it off.
I do, because I've had those experiences. I remember being a bank teller.
You were a bank teller too?
I was.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me about that.
I've done everything.
Oh, okay.
But the reason why is because I have a 2-year limit.
Okay.
So it doesn't allow me to waste my time trying to decide if this is for me. I'm not going off of just a feeling. So I was a bank teller for about 2 years in college. And another guy, my colleague, was next to me. He had been a bank teller for 8 years. We were making the same amount of money.
Wait, but 8 years?
For 8 years, because the cost of living was different then. So he came in at a certain, and then he started going up, and then they're not going to change it exponentially because so we ended up making the same amount of money when I came in. So when I found out he was doing this for 8 years at the same amount of money, I was devastated.
Because your next 8 years would be the same thing.
I could not do it. And so at that moment I was triggered. I'm like, no. I have to come up with some kind of way to not allow myself to waste that much time. Okay. And so 2 years for me. So it can be whatever it is for anybody. It doesn't have to be 2 years. It could be 3 years. It could be 5 years. It could be 6 months. Yeah. Because there are some things that don't serve me after 6 months or 3 weeks. And I decided to cut it off then. But 2 years is my max. I don't care if it's a car, job, place, hair. It does not matter to me. After 2 years, if I've been doing the same thing, hoping for a certain result, and I'm not elevating with it, it can't come. And so that's where that kind of mindset comes from. I am very disciplined now and intentional with the things that I do and how I do them, because I have a goal. And all of us have to have our goals. We have to be intentional. We have to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable, because nobody's going to come down and say, hey, you're not on track for the things that you said you wanted to do. Yeah. This just doesn't happen anymore. We've been conditioned to think that way with things like school, our parents, right? And that's just a way of life. But once we fly out of the nest, we're not responsible to get our own food, right? Mommy's not bringing it back to us and putting it down our throats. And we've outgrown that. So now we need to catch up with that life. And I think as minorities especially, we have to learn how to have accountability for ourselves. We have to learn to say, I'm responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for the way my life turns out. I'm responsible. Yes, we're all dealt different cards, but we are also dealt ways to play them.
Ooh,
right?
Good.
So let's play our cards. Let's not worry about how to play a deck of cards that we don't have. We got to know how to play our hand. So get with somebody, find a mentor who has played your hand, and learn from them. And I think
that's a wrap. I mean, what else do we say after that? So I have a few more questions, but we're not going to do it here. So if you guys want to catch the other,
let's do part 2.
Yeah, we'll have something else. So
I'm not leaving. I'll be in Miami.
All right. Okay, so I just want to say thank you once again for, like I said, for being you, for doing what you do, for being supportive to a community of people who need what you actually have already experienced. And I think that it's going to be like so easy for you. It's all of it is a no-brainer.
Wow.
And just keep
That's a
going.
huge compliment. I'm really looking forward to building a relationship with you, and again learning
Same
from
here,
you.
likewise.
Yeah, because it's in just you kind of understanding that I've only been in this for a couple months, but even inviting me to interview me
Yes,
is like
thank you.
huge for me. So I really appreciate you all for this opportunity. And so yeah, let's do it
Thank
again.
you. All right, we will. So goodbye, everyone, or so long till next time. So we're closing out this segment of Entrepreneurs Speak. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right.
Underground Biz Group. Underground Biz Group.